Hey, what's up? It's me, Jessica J, and I was just wondering if you've ever sat and thought to yourself, what are some ways to instantly make a conversation with a woman better? Well, if so, I'm glad you asked because I know that, the trendy thing nowadays is learning all these hacks, which is just a simplified way of saying a shortcut. Like hacking through a body. Geez, whoa. But to make sure you never miss out on another one of these little shortcuts to getting and keeping the women you want or another one of my videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It should be right here, but if it's not, it's going to be under this video right now. Yeah, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Bing, bang, bang for my mommy. So what a lot of guys don't realize is that because we women are even more in our feels in a given moment than y'all are, it takes just one good feeling about you to turn a conversation from boring to awesome. And I tell guys all the time, it doesn't matter how badly you mess up in a conversation, if you can turn things around, we'll forget every awful thing that happened before that good moment. And there's about 8 things you can do to turn a conversation around within the first couple seconds to get her forgetting about how badly she wants out of that conversation already. So the first hack is eye contact. Now, I know I've said this in so many other videos, but here's the thing about eye contact. If you can maintain eye contact with a woman for at least 3 seconds and get her to break eye contact first, we feel that shit. Really what it is, it's a subconscious submission to you, and because of cognitive dissonance, which I also explained in other videos but will explain now, cognitive dissonance means if our bodies do something instinctively or subconsciously or unconsciously before we can mentally process it, what we do is we tell ourselves, oh, okay, I did that action. I don't know why I did that action, but I must have done it because I wanted to. So if you can get a woman to hold eye contact with you for at least 3 seconds, which I've mentioned before, means you'll be intimate with her. If you can get her to break that eye contact first, what you're doing is you're getting her to submit to you, and then she's telling herself like, oh my God, I must want him to overpower me with his masculinity because I broke eye contact first. I know, it's just all these little psychological nuances that will work to your advantage in a conversation with a woman if you feel like you want to turn things up a notch. Now, the second one is kind of piggybacking off of cognitive dissonance, which is open-ended questions. So you may be thinking to yourself, Jessica, what the fuck does open-ended questions have to do with cognitive dissonance? Well, I tell you, when you ask open-ended questions such as, well, what do you think about that? Or even, what would you do if you were me? What you're doing is you're getting her to open up more. Open-ended questions means she opens up more. Not only does she open up more, but she also talks for longer than a regular yes, no, or one-word answer question. And if a woman is sitting there speaking to you longer than what she previously had been, what she's doing, again, cognitive dissonance, oh my God, I'm talking to him for longer. It must be because I want to talk longer to him. And not even that, when we women hear open-ended questions, what we hear is he wants me to open up to him. And when we hear that a guy wants to know more about us, we automatically wanna go to Pound Town. Now, the third one is a trick that I really like to use when I know that I myself am bored in conversation. So one thing I always tell you guys is your feelings are contagious. And however you're feeling in a given conversation, she's gonna feel it too. So if you know you're sitting there bored as hell, like, I don't even like what I'm talking about, guess what? She's fucking bored as hell too. However, if you sit there and start to use your hands and entertain the shit out of yourself, what you're doing is you're now entertaining her, not just visually, but also emphatically in your emotions. Because again, it's about entertaining yourself. It's about evoking emotions within yourself that she can feel through you. And if at the very least you're making yourself laugh and entertaining with gestures, because motion creates emotion, now you're sparking some fire into her as well. In my Speak to Spark Arousal program, where I talk about evoking emotions within women, I talk about how using hand gestures and using your body more to speak are ways to get a woman laughing. Because not many people do that. If you look at a lot of the great comedians, you'll notice that they are extremely facially and overall physiologically emotive. And because that is not what we're typically used to in everyday conversations, that is funny to us. The fourth one, I don't know why I made this fourth, I should have made it third, but the fourth one is asking, how about you? So if you know my whole PRS plus hey system, it talks about asking, how about you, whenever you're in a conversation with a woman. So for instance, anytime you reveal anything personal and relevant about yourself, like, hey, right now I'm sitting here wondering where the fuck my dogs went because they're supposed to be in this video. How about you? What are you doing over there? What you're doing is you're automatically engaging her on an intellectually personal level, because when you got personal in a way that she can understand what you're doing by throwing the how about you is making her feel connected to your life. Not only that, what's our number one interest? It's ourselves. Yes. If you watch enough of my videos, you'll know that your number one interest, my number one interest, Tyrion's number one interest is ourselves. So if you ask a woman, how about you? What you're automatically doing is throwing her to the ball to talk about the one thing she's most interested in. Sorry, I spit. And that'll make her be like, oh my God, he's interested in me too. I'm interested in me. We have the same interest. And bitches be loving that shit. Now, the fifth one is something I actually don't emphasize enough, but it's answer your own questions. So a lot of times guys will get into the flow of like, where are you from? What are you doing? What do you do for a living? How old's your mama? And they'll forget that they need to open up as well. For as much as you want to get her to open up, you want to get her engaged, you also want to be just as open yourself. No woman wants to open up accidentally to a serial killer. So to show her that you're not one, you need to show more of your own vulnerability in an equal manner by answering your own questions. So for instance, what do you like to do for fun? Awful question. I like to play with my dogs and my hair and my butt. What? Then you say, that sounds great. I also like to play with my dogs, my butt. What? When you answer your own questions, it keeps her from feeling like she's on the spot and being interrogated. Again, it brings about this level of equality and sameness and makes her feel like she can trust you that much more. Now, number 6 is, I made a whole video about number 6, but I'm gonna brush on it very lightly here. It's using the word we. So in this video I'm about to put up here, I talked about how the word we is a word that turns any and every woman on. Because when you start using the word we, not only do you plant the seed of us being together in our heads, we are the ones who then water that seed and fucking run with it. It's why most men joke about hating the word we, because we women, in essence, want to become a we. We don't just want to become bang buddies. We want to become a we. So if you start using it in other contexts outside of a romantic relationship or a sexual relationship, we'll know that we can trust you to be more than just about that stuff. Now, the 7th one, which I already alluded to, God, I'm spinning all over. The 7th one, which I already alluded to, is get playful. Now, I don't care how great the conversation is going. If you're not making a girl laugh, if you're not feeling silly and fun yourself, we're never gonna remember you. So all these conversation hacks will be for nothing. And I'm pretty sure that's not why you watch my channel. So I don't care what kind of sense of humor you have. I don't care how sarcastic you may or may not be. You need to get a woman laughing at the very fucking least to get her remembering you. In fact, Marilyn Monroe, my favorite crazy lady, once said, if you could get a girl to laugh, you can get her to do anything. Which is true. Which then brings me to my last one, which is get flirting. If you don't make it known that you want her more than as just a friend, guess what? You'll never be anything more than just a friend. Now, what a lot of guys don't realize is flirting doesn't have to mean sexual or romantic. Flirty, at the very least, means to insinuate togetherness, which is why throwing the word we is always so great if you aren't the best at being flirty or intentional with your D. And if you know that you need a little more help when it comes to making a girl laugh or being intentional with your flirty and moving things forward, don't forget to check out my Speak to Spark Arousal program, where I tell you exactly how to go from no conversation at all to banging in Pound Town. Yeah, there, I said it. And I show you all the different ways you can be flirty so that you can feel comfortable and confident in doing it without feeling creepy or like you're overstepping your bounds. So those are the 8 conversation hacks you could use right now, right this second. Check out my Speak to Spark Arousal program if you know you need a little more help in that department. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.